There will be food in Legends Triple Zero, which if you walk out to the left there, it's a little room. I believe there's some sandwiches and some salads, but there will be food for after the press if you're interested. Other than that, we're going to start in about 5 minutes. Again, photo ops here and outside, one-on-ones on the warning track outside, and food in Triple Zero. This room will close at 2 p.m. We'll be starting in about 2 or 3 minutes. Thank you.
I'm sorry. I didn't see.
Good morning. Appreciate everybody being here today. We're incredibly excited this morning to be at Yankee Stadium, and we'll acknowledge it many times throughout the press conference, but we have tremendous partners in the New York Yankees. Not only Randy and Lon, we're bugging and working with on a pretty regular basis. Thrilled to have Mariano Rivera here with us as well. But everybody in the Yankees organization, there's so many that help us on a daily basis. We're really thrilled about the partnership. When you build a franchise in New York City, there's great expectations, and there's always anticipation of what you'll do, what the announcements will be, when it will come, and we've had our share of that, especially with our newborn fans for New York City FC. And today we have two announcements that we're really excited about, and they're very big in the evolution of this club and our franchise and the history of New York City sports. In 11 months, our inaugural season for New York City FC will be played right here at Yankee Stadium. And we couldn't be happier about this. We couldn't be more thrilled. Yankee Stadium is not only the most iconic venue in the market, it's the most accessible venue in the market. I think our fans will have a variety of ways of getting here to see quality of soccer that is going to be really high level and exciting and fun. We're going to create a tremendous experience at Yankee Stadium. Plus, this is the first MLS season that will be played in New York City. And what better place to do that than Yankee Stadium? No better place. The Yankees have a proven ability, as everybody's seen since the day they've opened their doors here at the new Yankee Stadium, to pull these events off. In season, out of season, hockey, soccer, concerts, you name it. They've done it. And they're no stranger to soccer, that's for sure. You've seen a lot of very high-level worldwide games played here. Our sister club in Manchester played here last year, and they'll also be playing here again on July 30th against Liverpool. So the Yankees have figured out a way to understand the expectations of soccer. They've hosted the games, and they have the best grounds crew in the world. They understand the needs of our club, and we wouldn't be here otherwise. This is just a tremendous launching pad for our club for next season. So the second announcement I want to make is that season tickets are on sale as of 1 o'clock today. This is something I've heard from more fans about, and Claudio and Jason have as well, however they've been able to get to us. But at 1 o'clock today, our fans will be able to make their initial season ticket deposit and get on the list by going to NYCFC.com or calling 855-77-NYCFC. It's a big day for fans because they're expecting to be able to get their tickets, get in line early, have their choice of seats. Today's the day at 1 o'clock. So we're really looking forward to getting the ball rolling even further. It's been exciting to this point. There are more announcements coming in the future. With that, I want to introduce our sporting director, Claudio Reyna.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you to the Yankees, and Yvonne and Mariano for being here today. Growing up locally in New Jersey, I certainly never would have imagined that a professional soccer team would be calling Yankee Stadium its home. Yankee Stadium has always felt like an institution to me. I can't think of a more iconic place or venue for us to play our home games, and I want to thank the Yankee organization for being so welcoming. I'm so glad that this has all come together, and it speaks to the great partners that the Yankees are. We hope that some of their winning tradition and culture that they have created over the decades will rub off on us as we begin play in 2015. Today is even more exciting for us, as just this past week, we announced that 8 youth soccer organizations will join us as our youth affiliates. Youth development and community is very important to me and to our club in New York City, and we'll be committed to this from every day moving forward. The New York community is extremely important to us, and we are thrilled that we will have our first home within the 5 boroughs here in the Bronx. By playing at Yankee Stadium, all our fans will be able to easily attend our games next year and cheer us on in the seasons to come. It's a stadium that everyone knows where it's at, easy accessible, and truly an amazing location for us to play our first games. I now want to pass it over to the man that will be leading our team onto the field in 2015, our head coach, Jason Kreis. I'm thinking today that I live a pretty charmed life. I work for two of the greatest sports franchises in the world. Today I find out that I get to coach soccer next year in one of the all-time greatest stadiums in the world. And I'll be doing all of this in the greatest city in the world. So I'm extremely excited about this opportunity. Looking very much forward to being out there somewhere on the sidelines next year. And also excited about the fact that season tickets go on sale today. I hope that we earn a large fan base right away, and I promise that we will continue to earn their respect and earn their appreciation in the years to come. Thank you.
This time we want to have our partners from the Yankees take the podium, and the first to come up will be the president of the New York Yankees. He's also a board member of New York City FC, Randy Levine.
Thank you. So nice of you all to come out today, but see, Matt Mo's here, and here's the real breaking news. The real reason he retired is Claudio's been coaching him for 20 years. He's going to be the striker for New York City Football Club. Just kidding, Mike, just kidding. I've always said that Yankee Stadium is the greatest place in the world, and every athlete, every performer, anybody wants to play here. And they always tell us, Bob can speak to it, I played at Yankee Stadium. You know, when we entered into the partnership with Manchester City, we said we were one, and we are one. And to develop this franchise with this kind of management team, with all of us working together, these two great organizations, it's going to be a championship franchise, because that's the way we do it, that's the way Manchester City does it, and that's the way the people will do it. So on behalf of the Steinbrenner family, we're excited to have New York City Football Club play here at Yankee Stadium, and to tell you how it's going to be done, here's our Chief Operating Officer, Patrick.
I will try and anticipate a number of your questions and respond to them with my presentation, from the small, the minor, to the greater and more interesting questions. And the one thing I certainly could reflect upon is that what you've heard so far is the thrill of bringing soccer to Yankee Stadium, and the repetitive use of the term Yankee Stadium. And yes, that's the venue, that's the name, and that's why Yankee Stadium was, has been, will always be Yankee Stadium. From a purely technical basis, as Tim mentioned, tickets are on sale. But we do have, and for the sake of all those who might be interested, we do have suite holders and multi-year ticket holders, and they will have the opportunity to utilize their suites as they have in accordance with the terms of their agreement. Yankee Stadium's current capacity is 49,642. That does include ADA seats, but it does not include SROs. And except for select games, we intend to close off, and we anticipate closing off the grandstand and the terrace level, which would close about 16,198 seats, bringing the capacity for soccer down to 33,444, which is actually more in line with the stadiums that have been built in MLS for soccer facilities. Now, the field conversion takes about 3 days. Could we do it in 2.5? Yeah, if we work around the clock. Taking the field and putting it back for baseball, same thing. 3 days, we can push it to 2.5. 3 days is important based on weather conditions, etc. So we're analyzing that when it comes to the schedule. And we will work out the schedule. We've done it before, as has been said. The season will start in mid-March, I think presently, Tim, that's how we're working on it. And yes, we will have 17 or so games here during the regular season, not mentioning the postseason. We can work it in, we've analyzed it, we've tested it against existing schedules, The most difficult part will be awaiting receipt of the schedule from baseball, which is sometime in mid to late summer and final schedule in December. But we will be working with the club and MLS to make certain that the game will not be getting in the way with our regular schedule. As far as the placement of the field, you see the pictures up there, and I know this is hard to see, but up there. Those who can see this fine, I'm sorry, we'll pass it around, but we have no concern about the placement of the pitch onto our field. No corner issues. There's a 6-foot rule when it comes to distance to an obstruction. The closest corner will be in the upper right corner near the bleachers, and that's 8 feet 9 inches. So as you can see, it fits in perfectly. We've moved the pitch a little different than we've had in the past, so it's not on the pitcher's mound, which is about 2 feet 10 inches. So as a result of that, what we were hoping to do is actually not remove the mound, but it would appear we have to. So what we will be doing is tearing down the mound, putting a base under it, rebuilding the mound, and then using a claw-like structure, lift the mound before each game, move it and store it. That way we can replace the mound, which generally takes a day to take down and a day to put back. So we're reducing that time by removing the mound. We will not be the first to do this. It's been done before, and we'll just take a page out of the book of, I think, the San Francisco Giants. The pitch itself will be surrounded with LEDs. Now, you'll have them in the warning track, which is not an issue. They'll also be located from center field to right field. That could be an issue, so to avoid that, we will be putting down translucent, clean matrix, which is what we use for concerts. That should avoid any issues with the field. The field itself, obviously, there's always a concern. We will be experimenting with what Green Bay uses. They have glow lights. And yes, the field today is being used more than it ever has, so we have to be concerned about that. But we believe that we can grow grass at night with the glow lights. There are some other matters we might look at with glycol underneath the field, but we don't think we're doing that yet, but it's an analysis we'll be undertaking. The pitch itself, under FIFA rules, has to be between 110 and 120 yards by 70 to 80 yards. The pitch will be 110 by 70. Regular football in the States is 120 by 53.33 feet. So you can see we can put football, we can put American football and soccer, which is yes, European football. But football is football, we can still fit it into the schedule. The field will be grass, it will not be converted. Of the number of pitches that are used in the MLS, 14 of the stadiums that were primarily built for soccer are grass, 3 have turf, and 1 has a polytan. There's some other stadiums that exist that were not just built for soccer. They have both grass and mixed use. Every facility, as far as I know, under the MLS today, has 1 team playing in there with 1 facility that has 2, but every other has 1. We'll have 2 since we're playing with the Yankees and our new soccer part. So if you have any other questions, when we finish with the conference, please be free to ask.
Before we get to questions, just one thing. Well, Randy just gave us a hell of a good idea, because I think Mariano probably would sell a lot of tickets if he was playing on this team. Mariano is here today for a great reason, which is he's taken a leadership role in New York. He happens to be not only the greatest closer in baseball history, a future Hall of Famer, an icon of the New York Yankees. But as of now, he's officially the first season ticket holder for New York City FC. And even though Mariano will be number 1 on the list of season ticket holders, we've given him a special account number, which is number 42. And we wanted Mariano to come up to present him with this commemorative ticket and make a couple comments as well.
Thank you, guys. Introducing an actor.
Well, first of all, thank you very much for this opportunity, and yes, I'm proud to be the first one. I'm used to be the closer, always the last one. I'm the starter now, so I'm happy to be the one and big supporter of the team. So I wish the team the best, and definitely you guys will have my support. So and hopefully many fans will come. I know it's at New York City. We have a lot of people who love soccer. That's what I do too. Before I always said that soccer was and it's still my number 1 game. Baseball just got in between. But thank you again. Thank you for allowing me to have this honor. And being here in New York is no place better than that for the NYC team to be part here in New York City. So, and especially the home that I play, Yankee Stadium. So, thank you again. Thank you very much.
Okay, folks, we're going to open up the floor now to some questions. We have 2 wireless mics on the side. Joe and Justin, if you have a question, please kindly raise your hand. Wait for the mic to come to you and state your name and affiliation before moving forward. First question from the members of our dais. Hey, Joe. On the left.
Yeah, hello. Peter Nolan, about soccer. Did Major League Baseball have any concerns about overuse of the field in addition to the baseball games?
No. I think we know.
Next question. Philip Bondi here, Justin. Third row. In the middle.
A couple of questions. One for Mariano. Would you worry at all about playing and pitching from a mound that is being rebuilt on a weekly basis? Would that worry you at all, do you think?
No, really. I don't think that we have to worry about that because definitely like Randy says, they know what we're doing. We've been there before, so I don't worry at all. I'll be just ready to pitch.
And one other thing to anybody, how long is this? This is the one thing missing from all these announcements: is how long do you think this particular arrangement is going to last at Yankee Stadium? At least 3 years? Would that be accurate?
It'll last until it doesn't last. I mean, we're not putting any timetables on it. This is the home of New York City Football Club, and if there's a change, we'll let you know.
Gentleman all the way in the back on the left.
Hi, Peter Schwartz from WFAN. Are there adverse weather conditions that would force a cancellation or a postponement to a game? Should there be those kind of conditions?
We have tested this in Tampa, where we had a season of soccer down there. And we found that even during a major storm, again, when matches were played, it did not create a problem with the field. Obviously, if you have another situation like Katrina, I can't comment. As a general rule, it hasn't caused a problem.
Gentleman here, if you can wait for the mic, please.
Yes, Michael Lewis from Newsday. looking toward the future, just wondering what progress has been made on a training center for the soccer club and also a permanent home as well.
Michael, we've made great progress on both fronts, and especially on the training center, where we feel like we'll have some news here in very short order in the next 30 days, if not before. On the stadium, it's been no secret, I think, to anybody that our plans all along were to be in a first home while we pursued a deal to do a soccer-specific stadium in the 5 boroughs, and we are continuing to do that. We're conducting the same thorough search, looking at sites and developing that plan. And our goal is to be in a soccer-specific building as soon as possible. At the same time, as Randy said, we're not going to create artificial deadlines based on pressure that comes in different directions in order to do it the right way. We're only going to get one shot to do it, so I think we're going to take the time necessary to get it done.
Any other questions? Joe?
I'm Jeff Bradley from SI.com. To the Yankees, should we assume that you'll leave October completely open from soccer dates?
I think it's pretty clear, we're not gonna do anything to affect the Yankees schedule or anything. The two teams, as Lon said, will coordinate the schedule, and we talked to the Commissioner of Major League Soccer, NYCFC. We don't anticipate any scheduling issues. I think this is going to be a very coordinated, friendly, cooperative effort.
Joe, gentleman in the middle here, second one.
Hi, Leander Charlotte, Fox Sports. Question for Tim or Claudio. Can you confirm the New York Times report that you'll be here 3 years at least?
I'm not sure where that report was sourced from, because obviously we're here and this is the first announcement of this publicly, but what I would tell you is that, as Randy has said, we're not going to put a timeline on it. I think that our goal will be to find the right relationship, the right community to build a soccer-specific stadium and to be in that stadium as soon as possible. Having said that, again, I'm not sure where that reporting came from or where it was sourced. I can assure you it wasn't between the Yankees and the club. But our plans for 2015 are to kick off here at Yankee Stadium, and that's where we are.
Gentleman in the second row to your right.
Dave Martinez, Empire of Soccer. My question is to Jason Kreis. You've been in England learning the Manchester City way. How is that going to mesh with a narrow pitch? 110 by 70 seems to be a big constraint for the large type of game of play that that mentality requires.
I would disagree. I think, frankly, it's 70 yards wide is typical in a lot of places. My personal experience, because at Real Salt Lake at Rio Tinto Stadium between 2009 and 2010, it was 70 yards wide. And so for me, that's a comfortable width. If you start going narrower than that, 68, 66, then I think you have some concerns. But for me, when I was told it was going to be 70 yards wide, I was very, very happy man.
Any other questions? Philip, Justin?
I'm just checking, are you absolutely committed to the notion of finding a stadium within the boundaries of the 5 boroughs? Is that something would that be a deal breaker, Westchester or Long Island? That's something you don't want to do?
From the beginning of this thing, we've been absolutely committed to New York City. So I think the answer to your question is yes, that's what we're committed to getting done as a club.
Gustavo, on the left.
It's Gustavo Martinez, El Diario, La Prensa. You just mentioned that you don't anticipate any scheduling conflicts, but should something arise, is there an alternate venue that you guys have thought about, probably not even in the city, somewhere outside the city or somewhere in the city?
No, because we really don't anticipate any scheduling problems. If there are other venues in the city which we'll consider, but we've looked at this really, really carefully.
Joe on the left.
Yeah, Scott Soshnick from Bloomberg. Mariano, I'm just curious, do you pay full price or do you get a discount?
Being the first one, well, it's something that Justin said. But that's why you got number 1. Thank you.
Hi, Terrence Ross at Soccer Desk. This question's for Claudio. You played in the EPL, you played in stadiums across Europe. Are you at all worried about the atmosphere in a non-soccer specific stadium?
No, not at all. I mean, I'm really excited, to be honest. It's an incredible venue. It's here in the Bronx. There's the passionate fans that we have in New York City. I think will rival any in this league, and I'm really excited about it. I've been to games just last summer that were hosted here, and the atmospheres were great. There was a lot of fans from Spain and Ireland, and at the Man City Chelsea game as well. And I thought the atmosphere was spectacular. So, we feel good about that. I think there's some areas where we'll get some fans positioned that will make some noise for us. So, I'm really excited about that.
We have time for a few more questions. Carlos?
Let me just say one thing. As I've said over and over again, when we built this stadium, the boss always wanted us to such a magnificent building, keep it open all year round. And we have a lot of experience in doing other events. Pinstripe Bowl, great success, football. We've had many soccer games here that have been seamless, no problems with fields back and forth, concerts. So on the actual logistical, practical side, we've done a lot of work on this. We have the best grounds crew in the world. We have the best stadium operations people in the world. We're used to doing this. I don't think there would be any difference.
Carlos?
Hi, Carlos Leiva, WPAT, La Polemica, open to all any of the team officials. Judging by the team logo, am I to assume that sky blue will be the team color, a la City?
I think that's an astute assumption. At the same time, we're working very closely with the MLS to finalize a variety of different things, including what our kit will be for both home and away. But I think based on your observation of the badge, you can assume that the sky blue will be integrated into our kit.
Jason?
This one's to Mariana. Have you been approached about an ownership stake? And if you are, would you like to be a part owner of this team?
I haven't been approached to that yet, but if it comes, I have to really consider it. Because like I said before, I love the game of soccer, and it would be nice for me to be part. But that's something that hasn't been brought up yet.
We have time for one or two more questions. In the middle over here.
Tim, P. Muller from IBT Media. As the MLS continues to expand and globally get bigger, I would imagine that there's some higher-ups within the league that are pretty excited about having a new team that's going to play at Yankee Stadium. Just wondering on your thoughts and how you think this squad will help the MLS continue to expand.
Sure. I think the first thing I would say is that the relationship with the MLS in general has been fantastic. Everything we've done, and at the league office at MLS, they're as committed as we are to trying to figure out everything we need to figure out to create a successful franchise in New York City. And as the guys on the left side of the table can attest, it's not the easiest thing in the world when you're building a franchise in New York City. So having the full commitment of not only MLS, but the New York Yankees and Manchester City and this tremendous group of partners is really helping us get where we've gotten to and where we are today and where we'll go in the future. I think the expansion is exciting. I mean, as you look at the league, it's a great testament to the fact that this sport is continuing to grow dramatically all over the world. And the fact that there's an appetite from some of the most successful people in professional sports in the United States to continue its growth, I think speaks volumes about where the league is headed. We're taking our role in this thing very, very seriously. We're going to create a great experience for our fans, create a great product on the field, which I go to sleep at night not worried at all with these two guys to my right. We're taking our responsibility seriously, and we know that our progress and our success will be a critical piece of where the league is headed in the future.
One last question, if there is one. Dave?
Dave Martinez again, Tim. As you all know, it's very difficult to build anything in New York City, let alone a stadium. The process is very long, very detailed. Part of it is community outreach. You already have one town hall working around by the local Bronx community. Is there anything else that the team is anticipating moving forward?
Before you answer, it's not that hard sitting here right now.
Agreed.
It's a good point, Dave, and I think that, as I mentioned before, I kind of go back to that comment that all of these things require not only the involvement of a lot of people, the support of a lot of organizations and discussions and compromise and negotiations and all those things. But in the end, we're not anticipating having any issues getting where we need to get in the process to become successful with the stadium. We're going to build a soccer-specific stadium in New York City. We're going to take whatever time is necessary to get it right. And I think the beauty of building a franchise is fans are excited, people in New York are pumped up, like this thing is coming. Like this is a movie premiere in New York City, it's coming in 2015. That is happening, one way or the other. We're going to feed off that excitement and build. At the same time, you have to manage expectations. We open the doors to a soccer-specific stadium for this club, it will be spectacular. But we're going to take the time we need to develop the right relationships and work in a productive way to get it to that point.
Gentlemen on the dais, thank you for being with us today. We are going to break down the stage now for photo ops. As a reminder, after the photo ops are done, we will have photo ops outside and one-on-ones outside. So nothing will occur in this room other than the photo ops that we're about to do right now.
You're not recording, right?
No. So you just go handheld on that?
But I mean, if they're doing it on the field,
That's probably better, I guess.